Okay, we're on.
Am I audible? Do I sound like you can hear me clearly?
Why can't you see me?
I can't see you too well, but I can hear you.
Wave your hand. Yes, I see you move. I see you move. It worked. Nobody moved. Nobody moved from wherever they are. Everybody, all of you are in the right place.
Hi, so this is a re-recording of a live stream that I did with Rohit about 2 months ago, I think, almost, and it's quite interesting because I forgot to save that. So this is supposed to be take 3 of Stories with Shastri, or take 4, I'm so sorry. So Rohit is a performer, a singer-songwriter who's going to discuss music and the likes. I'm just going to add him on. Hi. I can't hear you. You're connecting to audio right now. Still saying connecting. Okay, you need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Check.
Ooh, I like the mic effect.
Hold on. Audio settings. That was.
Check. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. It's quite good. Hi, I love the scene behind you. I thought you lived in Bombay.
It is in Bombay. It's in New Bombay, actually.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that makes sense.
That's why. Yeah, it's like clean, green, and it's my balcony. It's beautiful. It's beautiful out there right now. It's raining.
Yeah, it's raining here also, but I have concrete in front of me, so it's not as pleasant. I really like, but I like
Yeah,
what I
Pune
see.
rains. I miss Pune rains.
It's so bad. They can't make up their mind only. Sometimes it'll rain, sometimes it'll be sunny out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like that.
They're super indecisive.
Cool.
So I want to start with understanding why would you describe your music as genre bending?
It goes back to my roots where I started.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. My audio is doing something.
Okay. I wish I had such cool equipment, man. I'm waiting to monetize off of this so I can get that equipment.
Yeah, you definitely will. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because with good audio, it's like it's when you're people connect to you, like especially if I'm a musician, I want to sing something, my audio is clearer.
Yeah.
Can you hear the guitar, Kevin?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so ask me the question again. We'll go.
Yes. So why do you describe your music as genre bending?
I call it genre bending because when I started doing music, I think I started music in my 4th standard, where I started playing the tabla. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my journey into music started with an Indian classical instrument.
Okay.
So I started playing a little bit of tabla, and I started playing a little bit of harmonium. And I didn't sing that time. I was just playing instruments. So later in life, I started writing poems, and after 12th standard, I studied music as my subject. In my bachelor, I did my bachelor's in performing arts. So after that, and that was also in Indian classical. But meanwhile, I started listening to a lot of genres like blues, jazz, fusion, funk, and all that. So all that infused into my music. So I don't stick to one genre when it comes to like programming or producing music or creating music. I try to experiment. So, and you can see that in my music also. Like some of my songs are very pop, jazz. Some of my songs are like really funky, and some of them are like fusion based. I did a song for this place called Basoli, which is a fusion, classical fusion, and we have some flute in that song and that. So that's why I call it genre bending. So people ask me why, like, what is your favorite genre? It's like an amalgamation of all these genres I have, like passed through in my journey.
Right.
So, genre bending.
And you majored in the sitar, and that's not something you hear of very often. So what made you pick the sitar as an instrument to actually study?
So I'll tell you, to be very frank, I didn't choose sitar. Like in my
Okay.
sitar was not my first choice. Okay, so I went to the college in Baroda, and I wanted to learn vocals, but there were already a lot of students in the vocal department.
Yeah.
So and sitar department was something, and I always loved string instruments. So they said we have a vacancy in sitar department, and you can probably do your first year in sitar, and then you can switch to vocals.
Hmm.
So I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll give it a shot. So I picked up the sitar, and once I picked up the sitar, I had a beautiful connection with the instrument. And there is a saying that you never choose an instrument.
Yeah.
An instrument always chooses you. I truly believe that. So for sitars, for sure, sitar chose me, and that's how I started. Like my lot of influences like Nikhil Banerjee and Ravi Shankar, all these, like I've been listening to their music from a very early age. Okay,
Yeah.
and it has really Indian classical has really helped me to open my ears to a lot of different genres too. So yeah, so I started my sitar journey, and then I sadly don't play it anymore because my sitar is in Pune at my
Hmm.
Guruji's place. And so I whatever I have right now in lockdown, the guitar, I try and play more of that.
So you're making do with. So what instruments do you have at home right now?
So I have a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and I have this keyboard, and I have few more instruments like electric guitar and like harmonica. So whatever instruments I have, I have a habit of collecting instruments also. So I have this instrument called Bagal Bacha, which I picked up from Shanti Niketan, Kolkata, near
Yeah.
Kolkata. So I went to Shanti Niketan. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
stayed with a baul musician. There's a genre called baul music, and I stayed with a baul musician, and he used to play an instrument called Bagal Bacha. So I got
Okay.
really fascinated by that instrument, and it's like a very funky kind of a sound. Okay, so
Yeah.
I picked up that instrument from there, and I played. I still have it actually, and I I include that kind of some funky. If I want to have a little fusionish kind of a vibe, I record that instrument. And so I have these instruments right now at home. So I'm trying my best to create whatever I can right now.
So you're coming out with an album after the lockdown, which is about 8 songs, if I'm not wrong.
Correct, yes.
Uh, and it's it's only Hindi, right?
It's a Hindi album, yes.
Okay. So have you incorporated the Bagal Bacha in that?
I have not incorporated the Bagal Bacha in that. So that Bagal Bacha, I have created a song for that, but that song is not in the album. Album is actually, I have around 40 songs. I have taken the best 8 for the album, and I
Hmm.
want to. So my plan is like this year I want to release this album, Hindi album, and have a English EP planned for next year, probably March or something, where I want to
Okay.
release. So I have a lot of songs which are written in Hindi and English both, and some of them, my mom helps me to write in Malayalam. My Malayalam is not that great, so
Hmm.
my mom helps me to write the Malayalam melodies. So I plan to release the English EP, which is gonna come out next March.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like how you said Malayalam and not Malayalam, like how everybody else. Or they'll just shorten it to Mallu and not say the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. My
That's
parents, man, they hate it. Like, when anybody calls them Mallu, like, don't call me Mallu. Call
Yeah,
me
I mean, it's
Malayali.
so irritating after a point. You don't know what to do. I'm half Palakkad, so for me, and I've never been there. So for
Okay,
me, it's even weird because it's a culture I don't know much about,
correct.
but it's still a part of it. So have you like ever faced that kind of a thing where someone was like, "Oh, you're South Indian. I could not have told, or I could
Yeah,
not tell."
I have see, because my dad was in the army. Okay, so we kept traveling. We most of the time, I have like my childhood was spent in North India. So
Hmm.
thankfully, my Hindi is very good. That's
Yeah,
what I think. So whenever I speak in Hindi, people say that you don't have that accent.
yeah.
Malayali people have their little accent in Hindi. So thankfully, because I had a lot of friends who I could talk to.
Hmm.
और उस चक्कर में मेरी मलयालम खराब हो क्योंकि आई डिडंट हैव एनी मलयाली फ्रेंड्स टू टॉक टू. ठीक है. So
Huh.
yeah, it's like a you lose some, you
You get some.
gain some.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
I've had that. I moved to Pune 17 years ago, and I used to speak Tamil very fluently. And then
Okay.
I came here, and my Hindi has been great always
Okay.
because my mum was fluent. My nani is a Visharad in Hindi and all of that. So we always had
Okay.
that around. But as over time, I lost all of my Tamil. I can understand. Every time an auntie says "Eppadi irka,"
Yeah.
I'm like, good, thanks. And I'm always nodding with all the parties coming home.
And whenever you try speaking in your language, people make so much fun of your because whenever I speak in Malayalam now, I have like a little weird accent. So people can, like, if I speak to somebody for like 5-10 minutes, they'll
Hmm.
come to know that this guy is not like, he's not living in Kerala. He's
Ah,
like he's somewhere outside. So I have to tell them, whenever I go and perform in Kerala also, people expect me to like be to like go out and like speak in fluent Malayalam. But because of like I don't know, like, because of my upbringing, like, I've been traveling, and my parents have like really like encouraged me to speak more Hindi, because like it's, you can use that language anywhere you go in the country. So probably that's why I picked up. My sister's Malayalam is like, in that case, is very good,
yeah.
surprisingly, with same like everything, education, travel, and everything. Still, she speaks better Malayalam.
I think that happens, because I remember, I mean, my Telugu is very fluent in the
Mhm.
sense of when I'm talking.
Yeah, you can
Be-
speak Telugu, Abhivi.
yeah.
Oh.
Because I speak to my nanny in Telugu, and it's either Telugu or Hindi with her. And
Hmm.
Hindi is very rare, when I can't find the right words in Telugu, then my Hindi will come out.
Cheppandi.
But because I picked up Telugu from her, people can't really tell. But then somehow, with my English,
Ah.
depending on whom I'm talking to, my accent changes.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
someone's like, "Oh, you have an accent," and I said, "No, it's because." So my grandfather was, there's a bird out here that is making strange sounds. So
Oh.
my grand wait, let me just wait for it to stop. Thank God I'm recording this and this is not a live stream. I'm
Too much
so done
happens on
with
the
live
live
streams.
stream.
I can't do them anymore. I can't do live streams anymore. My God,
What's been happening with the live streams?
great! It's going mad good. Hold on. Let me just find out what the hell is this bird's problem.
ठीक है, find out.
One sec. The bird disappeared. But
Okay.
anyways, so the live streams are going great. I finished about tomorrow is my 22nd episode,
Okay.
and
But I
that's
think this is will be better quality also, I think, than,
yeah.
right?
I think so because also I feel like maybe after this I'm not doing live streams anymore. The idea was to just generate some engagement, and I am done with that life. I can't after I'm done with these series I'm not doing. So far I have to finish. I have time till like August
Okay.
to I still have enough content till August to go on with. But yeah. So coming back with the English, right? So
Yeah.
people would go like, oh why do you have an accent? And so it's funny because my grandfather has been a major influence of English in my life, and he was taught by the British. So that
Okay.
is how. So I picked up that accent from him. So there are times where when we're talking and stuff like that, it will come out naturally. But then my English will be very different if I'm talking to someone who seems a little uncomfortable with the language because it's a second language and stuff. But yeah, it happens.
Are
Coming
you a
back,
grammar Nazi?
no. I mean, I used to be. I really used to be. And I had to, actually unlearn that it's not okay to correct people's language or look down
Yeah.
upon them because of that, because it's not their first language. It took a very long time for me to learn.
Yeah, that takes time. When you are new to a language, you do these kind of things. But it's not good to do that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, earlier I used to be quite the snob and I used to do it. And these days, when I see someone making a mistake, I take a deep breath and I go like, live and let live. And then I move and I keep scrolling past my Instagram or something like that. But yeah, man, it's been quite a tough week on Instagram. How are you dealing with the social media?
Oh man, it was pretty depressing. It was very shocking also. So I'm like trying to, like, play more. That's the only thing I have. I think playing more just like deviates me from all that that's happening. And too much of social media is not good. Like
Yeah.
you scroll through it, and it's like a loop. It's like you just get into a news and you just keep following it. And
Yeah.
you want to know something which is not there or there. I don't know. So I have like I kind of controlling it now. Like, don't watch a lot of Netflix. I don't occupy myself with Instagram and all that right now. But I this is my like a studio setup here. I come here, I like switch on my Logic Pro and I start playing recording. That's like
That's the
the
best way to
best.
go about it, I think.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Right now we all need some kind of distraction, man. Everybody needs something,
I think more than distraction, we need the motivation to do something,
Correct.
because it's not like, for how long will you distract yourself after a point? I
Yeah, you
mean,
can't distract yourself. You need to have that motive. Yeah, that is very important. Nowadays when I speak to my bandmates on a video call or something, like we're talking about music, it was so the initial call started with like, let's be connected, let's talk about music. And later on, nowadays now everybody's like so like stressed. They just
yeah.
want to like release that energy by talking to some random stupid stuff we did. We now we used to talk about music and all, like we're talking about, okay, what is a slow groove and all that we did. And then after some stuff, like after half an hour, we're talking about our toes, like what we did in Goa, how random things were happening, and wow, like how we ended up in a pool in the night randomly and all that. And we need something to laugh, right? We are not
Yeah.
like, we have just like, I don't know what's happening. It's extraordinary times, man.
Yeah, it's
Very,
quite
you have to
strange.
like get through it.
Yeah. So, what is the one thing you miss about touring, and what is the one thing you don't miss about it?
One thing I miss about touring is obviously the travel part.
Yeah.
Like, you get to travel, you get to meet new people, and that's it. I actually, what I would say that I don't miss the sound check, but I do miss the sound checks. I am now like, and I was talking to my friends and said like, पहले हम लोग sound check करते थे and we used to wait and we used to crib about like, oh man, now we did the sound check, now we have to wait the entire day to, मतलब मुझे यार भाई अभी सिर्फ sound check ही दे दो यार, उतना ही बजाने दे दो ना. I'm so glad, I have started taking all these small things, very seriously now, probably after the lockdown, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Have you always been a full-time musician?
I've always been a full-time. I've never gone in an office and worked ever. Like, I've been doing music for 16 years now.
Wow.
Never a single day. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very
can't
good.
do that. I can't imagine having like a 9 to 5 thing. And I know that there are people who do it, but then
Yeah,
it's not.
it's not a bad thing. Like, people,
Yeah.
I have most of my friends, they are like, they're in IT jobs and everything, and they're happy. Some of them are happy. Some of them want to do something else. But it's all about like, sometimes you have to take that decision, and sometimes
Yeah.
the life takes that decision for yourself, for you. So I've worked with musicians with amazing caliber, but just because they can't, their family background or financially they can't go ahead and do music, it's very sad. And there are so many amazing musicians out there. I've worked with so many.
Yeah, and I see a lot of them who've, either out of family pressure or, being told that it's not a sustainable career, moving
Yeah,
on to doing something that they don't like. Like the amount of musicians I know who are so talented but are wasting themselves in an engineering college studying something they don't even like. I know
yeah,
musicians who like it
yeah.
also, but then I know some of them who don't.
Takes a lot of strength and willpower. Actually, I'll tell you. I today only I was writing something, and I was thinking that it takes so much of like our world, like an artist's world looks so glamorous from
Yeah,
outside. People
yeah.
think that we are like, okay,
You're
we are
partying all the
touring, partying
time.
all the time,
Yeah,
but they don't realize how much we practice. Okay, how much time we spend in the craft. It doesn't come out like that. It takes a journey. Like there's this amazing thing said by Steve Vai, a guitar player. He said,
yeah.
you take 10,000 hours to like become a master in a craft. So you actually have to spend those hours. I remember when I picked up the guitar. I was saying like I remember when I chose to be a musician. Okay, I
Hmm.
told my dad he wanted me to join the army.
Yeah.
So I told him that I connect. I think there's an artist inside me, and he himself is an artist. Like he's an amazing singer himself. He
Hmm.
didn't get support from his father to do what he wanted to do. So I told him that I want to pick up arts, and I think there's an artist inside me who really wants that voice. So
Hmm.
I chose, and I remember I used to go visit my relatives in Kerala.
Hmm.
They used to ask me, okay, beta, what are you doing? So I used to tell them, okay, I'm studying music, and I'm like excited kid here, like, हाँ, I'm studying music, ये हो रहा है, सितार बजा रहा हूँ, गिटार बजा रहा हूँ, ड्रम बजा रहा हूँ.
Did they
And
say the hobby thing?
हाँ, they used to tell me, वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन कर क्या रहे हो? That used to be the question. Like, they
Yeah.
always like, and I don't blame them, because our culture is like this, that
Yeah.
we are trained to believe that like any kind of arts is like, you अगर कुछ नहीं किया तो आर्ट्स कर लिया.
हाँ.
स्कूल में भी ऐसे था ना कि सबसे ब्राइट स्टूडेंट्स जो होंगे वो साइंस पढ़ेंगे, एवरेज स्टूडेंट्स कॉमर्स पढ़ेंगे, और जो डपोर होंगे वो आर्ट्स पढ़ेंगे. ऐसा नहीं था.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we have to like come out of that mentality.
Yeah, I think that is very important. I mean, even I get that a lot. Like, especially when I used to work at restaurants, people would go like, "Oh, your life is so chill. You get to party all the time." And I look at them and I said, "I'm working. Till today, I don't know what partying means.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't. What am I doing? I'm literally in my head. It's like if I haven't gotten the right shot, the artist is going to be mad, and the client is going to be mad, and the social media person is going to be mad."
Correct.
So it used to be like that. And then even with the whole arts mindset, if I told any of these aunties, who used to come home for Dashera and Navratri and all, we have Golu. So they'd come home and they'd go like, "Oh, Sangamitra, what are you doing? So nice to see you." Like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm studying photography." I'm working as a photographer. I'm not studying it. Sorry. And she go like, "Okay, but what are you actually doing?" And I'm just looking at her and I said, "I get paid
That's a
for
common
this."
story, man. That's like a lot of people go through like that, and it's sad, but I think things are changing now. Things are changing.
Slowly.
Yeah. People are accepting other things. Like it's pretty slow, but it's happening for sure.
Have you ever had that thing where people go like, "Do this for we can't pay, and you can do this for exposure"? Because I used to get that question, and after a point I got so tired because I started working individually by myself about 3 years ago. And thankfully, I was about 20 then, and thankfully I realized that my value, in the sense of my time is valued at something, my skill is valued at something,
Correct.
and the work I put in is valued at something. So after a point, I got so tired that I told this one person, said, "Oh, we'll give you a lot of exposure." And I looked at them dead in the eye and I went like, "There's enough exposure in my camera. You give me the money."
Exactly.
So have you ever had that where people go like, "Can you perform for exposure?"
I have had a lot of people come in my life and ask me this question. Will you do this for exposure? I have, I'll tell you, in 16 years, I have never done one single gig for free, ever.
No pro bono.
Never. Like, you have to have something, like, because, there is so much amount of practice and a lot of things put in behind a gig or anything. Like, you want to go out and say something, you want to play something, I put in a lot of hours to rehearse and all that. And people don't see these things are not tangible. That's why people think that, artist रहता है अपने zone में, वो void में रहता है. But all that space is required for me to practice what I'm practice and play, right? So I have had my share of questions like that, but I tell them Pale I used to get really angry, but now whenever they mail me or ask me, I like write them a proper email telling them what I am going through and where I am coming from. So I just ask them, you want to do a show, okay? Can you tell the same thing to the sound vendor? कि भाई मैं तुमको एक्सपोजर देता हूँ, ठीक है, आपको साउंड दे दो, मेरा साउंड और लाइट लगा दो, आप मुझे एक्सपोजर मिलेगा आपकी कंपनी को. बोला कि भाई मेरे को 10 लोग और पड़े हैं जो they're wanting to hire me. So we can't tell this to the sound vendor. How can you tell this to a musician who's coming in with so much, and you're doing your business because of an artist who's coming to your venue, right? Simple as that. So then I start taking it like, mindset change करना, then you have to be polite with them. And क्या होता है कि most of the time these venue owners also don't know about it. Most of the time, they end up programming musicians, but they don't know about artists or where the artist is coming from. So उनके बीच में और artist के बीच में बहुत gap होता है. So you sometimes have to sit with them and tell them, this is not how it works. We are not like selling vegetables that you are, okay यार तू 10,000 में बजा लिया, नहीं यार 8,000 रुपए बजा लिया, नहीं यार छोड़ इतने कम में बजा लिया. They're selling the art like, vegetables, which is very bad.
I've actually said the vegetables thing to someone because I remember there was this programmer I knew at one of these venues who was trying to get my partner and me at that time for a wedding. And first he asked me the rate, and we were charging exorbitantly low prices simply because we wanted to create like a wedding portfolio at that time.
Correct.
because if you don't have that, like, keep a fare, but then keep it a decent fare which is not too high, because you don't have that skill yet.
Correct.
So he go like, so he asked me the price and I said X. And then he calls me up after 4 hours. He goes like, can you do for X by 2? And
Wow.
I said, okay, let me consider it and we'll see. We'll probably do one photographer instead of two. He's like, no, we want two. I said, we'll think about it. Then he calls me up again the next day. And he's like, can you do it for X by 5? And I just lost it and I said, buddy, I'm not selling vegetables out here. And since then, that's been my go-to line.
Correct.
Please don't behave like we're bargaining for vegetables, because we're not. But it happens, I think, eventually. But you know, what do you do when a venue is so used to bargaining with someone?
Yeah, there has to be awareness in, like, I think in both the worlds, like artist world also, and in terms of like the vendors and the venues who call artists, they also need to know, like, how this process is. In other countries there are different systems. Like in Europe, like you can hire a venue, ठीक है? और वहाँ पे क्या system होता है कि the artist gets the gate share.
Yeah.
ठीक है? You get a gate share and you get a share from the F&B. That's how it happens in the Europe. But some of the places in India also, they tried doing this, but it didn't work, because it has to be a combined effort between an artist and a venue. If you're doing a gig, it has to be promoted like equally from the artist and the venue. That's when people will come and see your gig, right? So ऐसा होता नहीं है. Then I have played most of the venues in the country now, but I have hardly had conversations with the owners very few times. There are venues जहाँ पे you go and play, but people don't, like the people who owns the place, they don't even contact you directly. They don't know who's playing. It's just chal raha hai. So वैसा I don't like. I like, if I'm playing in a venue, it's like sharing something, like that venue, that performance. It's like I remember played in High Spirits and Blue Frog. All these venues are like so amazing. I remember playing in Blue Frog Bombay, the old one.
Yeah.
Such a great venue, like acoustically treated.
Beautifully
and it was a dream. Yeah, it was a dream to play there. And so we need venues like that in our country, and people, and especially venue owners, needs to know the artist.
Yeah, I'm quite sad. I'm quite sad that Blue Frog Pune shut down. It makes me feel like, because some of my best experiences were there, with gigs, with photos I've taken. Most of my favorite photos are from there. And
it was a good venue, but I think the location of the venue was little, like,
probably, yeah, possibly. I mean, it was very interesting because of the diverse genres that came in. I mean, Dia did a fabulous job programming that place.
Crazy. Like, I remember Blue Frog getting all, like in Bombay, they got mute mat and all that, people like that, and like people, Jojo man came and performed at Blue Frog. I'm like, क्या हो रहा है भाई? कुछ भी हो रहा है.
हाँ, कहीं से भी, मतलब, if they did, I don't know if you've heard of Eric Fritz.
No, I've not heard.
So he's like the god of progressive house.
Okay.
So, and he, Supersonic brought him down to India, and this was 2017. And he's known for his fear of flights. Like, he's scared of flying. So he would never come. So the time Eric Fritz came and performed in India for the first time, almost all of India's underground music scene was in Pune that time. Blue Frog, he came and performed at Blue Frog as Sires D, which is his alias. And that place was packed. There were people jumping on tables and just to get a view of him and a look of him. And it was so beautiful. I'm very glad and lucky and fortunate that I got to, experience that. It was insane. The kind of, pull that a person has on stage and the stage presence.
I similar experience happened to me last year. Like, I saw U2. I think it's the best concert ever. Like, so much, like, the lights were amazing. The band obviously was crazy, and it's beautiful. Like, to see bands like that. Beautiful.
Yeah, didn't they do like a whole visual tributes to Gauri Lankesh and stuff like that?
Yeah, they did not just her, a lot of strong women. They, like, it was a huge ass screen, man. Like, it covered the entire stadium in one side.
Wow.
Yeah. So and they were projecting images, and there was a stage coming ahead, and there was a ramp and all that. It was proper, like, jo hota hai na, experience aisa tha.
Damn cool. I'm glad that happened. Do you think artists hold a level of political influence?
Definitely, because see, artists. See, most of the times in cultures when artists are oppressed, na,
Yeah.
uh, you know that there is some change happening. Like in our country also, there's so much oppression. Like artists have that voice.
Yeah.
We have that voice that we can write and we can influence people in a good and a bad way. That's the tricky part with being an artist, right?
Yeah.
So we have that power. I think every writer, every artist has that power to influence. Like, and if you can say some things like so simply by music, people understand these things very simply by music.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. So there is a lot of, and when you talk about the bands like YouTube, they have like so much influence in terms of like they're part of UN. They go to UN, they speak there. They talk about a lot of things like climate change and all
Yeah.
these things. And baat log sunte hain yaar, like it's a band, like it's been around for 30-35 years. So I also want that to happen in India, man. Like like that expression, you can reach out. There is, like, I'm not saying that कुछ मिलता नहीं, expression freedom नहीं मिलता है, लेकिन there are a lot of times when the voices are
Suppressed.
suppressed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that happens eventually. And but then there are always those artists who make you, if you hear their music, you feel like pushing yourself
Yeah.
and doing something with yourself. Like Damien Rice had that
Oh.
influence on me. Like
He came to Bombay, that so far.
so far, I know we were so sad because we were like, give us tickets, give it to us, even though on so far team didn't get it.
Yeah, man, I really wanted to see him.
Yeah,
There are a
but
lot of bands. Like there's Rage Against the Machine. There's a band like
oh,
they are like full protest band. Like and they can, because that Rage Against the Machine is my workout music. Now I listen to the music when I'm working out. Like
yeah,
power. I
yeah.
love the music. Yeah.
That happens. There's this one band. I don't remember the name right now, but you remember the thing where they wrote "Kingdom of" what was that line? Ruled by wolves and run by sheep, or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
That's actually from a song.
yeah. What was that band?
Wait, let me look for it. Hold on. Ruled by wolves and run by sheep. I think that was something like that. Nation of sheep ruled by wolves and owned by pigs. So that is from. Hold on. So there was this band with a lead woman singer, and it was called. Let me try to. Hold on. I can't find
Crazy
it.
Rain Outside.
Yeah, it's not much here. It comes like this. It's coming sporadically and going. I can never understand what.
I was.
Oh, I just saw your sliding door.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
There will be waterfalls. Like I think by evening waterfalls will be there.
Yeah, yeah. I think that will happen. There was a thunderstorm warning that we had. Oh yeah, Otep Shamaya.
Okay.
So Otep Shamaya is the lead singer for I think that's the name of the band or the singer, but she is the lead of a particular band. I think it's neo metal, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
But so it came from that, and there's so many different origins of where like artists have that kind of power to push people to do something, like
Yes, definitely.
like with the Haiti earthquake that had happened.
Oh
We
yeah,
had the
yeah.
whole Lionel Richie "We Are the World" from back then, and we had the recent one,
Live
Black Eyed
Aid,
Peas.
like 80. I think it was 84.
I think it was sometime in the
Oh,
80s for sure, but I wasn't.
yeah.
I don't know what year. And then the new reboot they did. Then Black Eyed Peas doing "Where Is the Love," and they rebooted "Where Is the Love" again. And I think it takes that. The fact that they can do that speaks a lot about why we need to change our attitude towards music or any form of arts somewhere. So, what are the musicians who inspire you to push yourself?
So initially, as I mentioned, I started my journey with Indian classical music.
Hmm.
So there are people like this amazing sitar player called Nikhil Banerjee,
Okay.
and then Ravi Shankar, and then I was introduced to Jimi Hendrix because initially there was a friend I had who told me that you should definitely listen to these bands called Beatles, and there was this Woodstock '69 where Ravi Shankar
Yeah.
also performed. So like, okay, then I said, oh, Ravi Shankar performed. Then he gave me that Woodstock ka pura discography. Okay, then उसमें जो सारे bands थे, like Fleetwood Mac, Santana, and all those. I'm like, wow, this is like crazy. So I then that was the first time I heard Hendrix, and I was like, wow, that is
Yeah.
something. So that actually really inspired me to pick up the guitar. Like when I heard that '69 ka Hendrix ka show, that was I think the first time I saw like electric guitar or any kind of guitar being played like that.
Yeah.
I was very fascinated. So all these instrument like players like Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Yeah.
David Gilmour, Nuno Battencourt, and a lot of like proper rock guitar players who inspired me to like pick up the guitar. Yeah.
What's your favorite Hendrix song?
Voodoo Child.
I would love Voodoo
Yeah,
Child.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Because
so
what,
good.
it has that wah pedal kind of that funky
Yeah.
thing. So I love it. I love playing it live also. It's so amazing.
It's so, I don't know, it's funky, it's groovy, it
It's
makes you
very
like,
good. And it's like the music was way ahead of its time, man. Like it
oh yeah,
was,
so much.
and it's still there. People still listen to that music. That is so inspiring that you like leave your legacy behind. That people still listen to you after like 60 years, 70
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's really amazing.
But I started my introduction to classical music, like very much like you, was much before my introduction to anything else.
Okay.
So my mom actually used to listen to, I think, if I'm not wrong, either Balamurali Krishnan or SP Balasubramanian, one of them,
Okay.
when she was expecting me. So apparently I would calm down every time she played classical music. And even now, classical music calms
Used
me
to
down.
play the violin Carnatic violin singing
But I think Balamurali Krishnan is vocals,
vocals, na? Okay.
Carnatic vocals. And I watched him live also.
Oh, nice.
So, and I watched a lot of them live. I had the opportunity to volunteer for Speak McKay and all.
Oh, nice.
So
Oh,
after
yeah,
that,
yeah. You have also done that, right?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
part of like the first rural convention. So we went to Bihar and we went to a
Oh,
remote
nice.
place where
I
we,
have done volunteering in Speak Mac also.
it's a
Crazy.
beautiful experience.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. I remember when I was doing it, there was Shubha Mudgal.
yeah. I watched her. I've seen her
Shubha
live.
Mudgal and I think Vishwa Mohan Bhatt. He plays this Mohan Veena.
Yes, I know.
That was so
The
amazing. And
pioneer of the Mohan Veena.
exactly. And it was like, what I have seen that there was one day when I was in Pune. So there were two gigs I attended in the same day. Okay, one was Mohan Veena. Okay, I attended in some I think Prabhat Road or something, some auditorium. Okay, after that I go to Swig, and who's Rahul Chatterjee, full blues man, like
Yeah.
rest his soul. And he was like going for it, bro. Like, he was like, and I was like, I just came from an Indian classical amazing concert and go to a blues like crazy concert. It was one of the best days ever.
Yeah, Chaz was one of the most loveliest and the most talented musicians I'd had the
Yeah.
privilege
Such
to
a
meet.
humble, great guy.
Yeah, it's,
Yes.
and the whole thing about leaving a legacy behind, I think Chad's is one of them locally. If you're talking
Definitely.
about Jimi Hendrix. So recently I learned that Franz Kafka, the author, he died thinking that his work was meaningless and worth nothing.
Oh.
So he had actually told his friend to burn all of his manuscripts and unfinished work. But his friend actually published them, making him one of the most important literary figures of the 20th century.
Correct. He became immortal.
Yeah, like there's always, I was just talking to my mom earlier today about how, there's this fear of people forgetting you after you're gone, or either forgetting the life you lived or who you are or your legacy.
Correct.
Or you not living the life that is worth remembering. So it's always like that dichotomy of fear. I don't know.
But in that case, that you need to know the value of self-worth. You need to you see, for an artist, like I speak to most of my artist friends, and the common experience, the common things we have is like to get that motivation every day,
Yeah.
that to be inspired and to pick up the instrument or sing or play anything, it takes motivation. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you know your self-worth and you love yourself, that is very important. Then you get motivated to pick up an instrument, because see, whenever I pick up the instrument, I want to play something, I want to improve myself as a guitar player, learn something. So I look forward to the coming days, and I'll be learning this, I want to develop this style. So that keeps you going. That, I think, that for an artist to keep practicing your art is very, very important, and that really helps you, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're actually absolutely right, because it's such a process, right? To be able
It's a
to love
process.
yourself, and you do
Yeah,
not
it's a
allow
process.
anything else, anything exterior affect you to such a level where your
Some people are
creativity.
unlucky, they surround themselves with people who make them feel worthless. There are people
Yeah,
you'll pick up. I have faced this. I have faced this in the people around you, because they can't do what you are doing, no, they tend to put you down sometimes, not all the time. i
yeah,
have i have some amazing friends also, but I have met people who will be like, yeah, tu ye kya kar raha hai? Is there a future for you? So I
yeah,
tell them, ki, is there a future for you when you get out my house and go on that road? You might die there. Somebody will come and hit you. There's no future like that. If you want to survive, live, and be
yeah.
happy, you should do what you love doing the most. That's a cliche line to say, but actually it is true.
It works. It works
Yeah,
wonders.
yeah, because see, I have friends who are unhappy in a job because they don't like doing it.
Hmm.
Okay, so I tell them, so they see me performing and they come to me and they go, you're so happy. Like, you see my happiness. You just see music is just a 10% side of me. I have much more happening in my life than music.
Yeah,
I do a lot of other things. I love traveling. There's a different side of me. Just my art is not just like, I
yeah.
don't think that art can define somebody. So, well, yeah, people start taking it too seriously, man. Like, that's why all these should happen. When you start taking yourself too seriously, you have to like just ease out, chill
Yeah,
out
I
sometimes.
think to realize that it's more also very important to realize that you don't have ultimate control over something.
You don't have it.
Or even, but it also holds true with yourself, but you do have control of, choice of what you allow, what you choose to,
Correct. Yeah.
allow to affect you eventually. So how do you deal with, like, speaking of friends who are uplifting you, or speaking of friends who have days where you need to, love yourself enough to pick up something. So suppose that day is not today.
Hmm.
So how do you deal with that creative block?
So I see, initially when I used to have these creative blocks, I used to get really frustrated. Like, I used to think, कि क्या हो गया is ये जो I started doing music, I practice so much, फिर भी nothing is coming and everything is like, hazy, blur. But then with time, with experience, with more practice, I started realizing that it is a very normal thing to have an artist block, a
Yeah.
writer's block. Okay. And you can come out of it by, as I said, constantly practicing your art.
Hmm.
So I'll give you a simple example. Like the songs we create, like writers, or we don't create them like, sometimes they are created overnight. Like, we're just
Yeah.
practicing. But that song was in a making for a long time. You don't realize it. You just become that vessel at that point of time for that melody to pass through you. Okay?
Yeah.
You've been playing that melody. That's what I've realized myself. But that is this beautiful time when it passes through you. But you have to allow yourself to do that.
Hmm.
So I go through this artist block or writer's block a lot of times. Okay. So what I do is just sometimes I take a break from playing also. When I say I'm going to Kerala to
Yeah.
meet my parents, I don't take my instrument. Okay. Then what happens? Ki then you crave for it,
Yeah.
right? So
And also you
you start
value it,
missing.
I think.
Yeah, you start like, so then what happens, and then you want to go back to it and you want to sit down with it. It's like making love to a woman, man.
Yeah.
Like it's exactly like that. So you crave for that. You go back and you start pick up the guitar and you play it and you are like, oh wow, I missed you so much. And
Hmm.
then automatically that block is gone. That happens a lot with me. Traveling really helps me.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody will have that one thing that helps them but connect and also disconnect at the same time.
Correct, correct.
I'm sure. So, what is the ultimate direction, or what is your ultimate? If you have a milestone as an artist, or is there a particular direction you want to take with it?
For now, I really want to release my album. I was hoping that I will finish it before March, but couldn't do it.
Hmm.
And so planning to resume the work, I think in July, after the final lockdown is over, hopefully,
Hmm.
and release that in couple of months. My birthday is in August, and I want to release the album by 5th of August.
Hmm.
So let's hope for the best that it comes out. That's my dream. Before now, that is my go to, that's where I see myself. 5th August, okay, mera album bahar aa raha hai, I'm excited, I'm promoting and doing all those things. I'm really looking forward for that.
Yeah, that would be quite cool. But every time someone says, "I hope the lockdown lifts," I just laugh at them. And
Exactly.
I go
Yeah,
like,
man.
"You
We are
delusional fool! It's not happening. Like, there's no hope." There are people out in Pune who are still getting out of the house. There's traffic
yeah,
on
it's
the
pretty
road.
outside. It's crazy now. It's even more dangerous to go out, and I don't know. It's very dangerous. Like a lot of people are out, and don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, so what has this lockdown been for you? What do you do when you're by yourself?
So the first month was pretty depressing. I
Hmm.
won't lie. It was nothing. It's something which never happened to anybody, right? It's like you don't know what to do when
Yeah.
this happens. So the first month was I was just like, man, what's happening? I'm just don't want to. I don't feel like doing anything. I'm demotivated. But then one day I just decided, I'll just clean my house first. First thing, I'll
Hmm.
just clean everything. First, I did that, and I felt really nice. Like now everything is clean around me. Now let's retune my guitar and start playing. So I started playing randomly, and I
Hmm.
recorded something like a loop or something. I was playing on it. Then I realized what I missed the 1 month I was doing nothing. So then I realized that, and I came back to say my reality that okay, I want to do this. This is not. I can't let one thing dictate the course of my future. So
Yeah.
I took that decision, and I just came back to recording and writing more. That's all.
That's good. I'm glad. And you recently put up something about paid concerts, online concerts.
Yes. So I've been doing this. So what I believe that I suggested this to my friends also that because you don't have any venues now, you can't go out, and my I'll tell you about myself. My main source of revenue is performing live. Okay, so that is totally gone right now. So I don't want to because since there is so much of hard work put in behind to make the music and to entertain people. You shouldn't do if you're good at something, don't do it for free. That's what my mantra. And so I decided that I'll do concerts. I'll e-cons. I did some personal Zoom concerts also in last a couple of months. And
Really?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for a group of 50 people. I set up my studio. I put some lights here, make it like a nice fancy looking venue, and you can watch me live on Zoom. And so there's a ticketed price, and that's not much. That's probably a cup of coffee when you go out, and it's like that. So I am promoting this right now because I think for the next couple of years that's going to be the main source of performing live kind of aspect. And
Yeah.
with that, I'm doing my programming, recording jingles, and programming music for the artists. That is happening. And teaching, I start teaching
Oh,
again.
wow.
I left teaching I think a couple of years back because I started traveling a lot.
Hmm.
So but I have all the time to be at home and do
Yeah.
I can teach. So I'm start teaching. I have few students now, so that's also happening right now.
So what are you teaching?
So I teach songwriting, singing, and guitar playing.
How cool.
Yeah, so these things I'm teaching right now. And I don't have my ukulele. I play the ukulele also, but it's in Pune.
Hmm.
So right now I'm teaching these three things right now.
But that's pretty cool. And what do you do? How would you describe yourself beyond the music and the travel?
Beyond the music and the travel,
Yeah.
somebody who loves dancing, who loves eating and experimenting, meeting new people. you
Hmm.
know Meeting is I love talking. You can
Hmm. Yeah.
realize that. Anyhow, so
Same. It's obvious.
exactly, I love talking. Okay, and
Hmm.
especially when you go out, and in my profession you get to meet a lot of people, interesting people, and people who come to see you. People, I believe that people who go out and see live performance, they're already rock stars. They are cool
Yeah.
people because they are going and experiencing all that. So I get to meet a lot of people. That's that is what gives me a lot of peace. I listen to their stories. There are a lot of songs which I have composed which come out of not my experiences,
Oh,
from the
wow.
experience. Yeah, exactly. I have done that. I remember meeting a person in a bus travel, and he told me a story about his sister, or how she faced a crisis in her life and all that. That inspired me to write a song, and I kept in touch with him, and I sent him the song. He was so like taken aback, it was like so emotional. And this happened with to me with a song called Intezar also. I wrote the song in a long distance relationship. Okay, so I was performing that song, I think in a venue in Bombay, and there was a couple sitting in the audience. Okay, by the end, I was looking at the couple, and they were taking video and all that. And the song talks about how you feel in a long distance relationship. So the song got over, and the girl had tears in her eyes. Okay, she was crying. So after the gig got over, they came to me, and the girl told me that, thank you so much for singing that song. My fiance, he lives in Delhi, and he's come to meet me, and we have come to the venue to have dinner together.
How
And
sweet.
yeah, so, and she could connect to every word, every word I was saying. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I love, that you write something which connects to somebody. So that is what keeps me going.
Yeah, that's true. But when you're out meeting people or you meet people for a living, there are some real characters you meet.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell
It's
me about it. They think that the artist is like you can just say or do anything with an artist. They are just open book. It's not like we are an open book till we are on the stage. We are also like shy
yeah,
people. I'm not that, like, I love. I'm a very dynamic performer. And that's what I believe. Like when I'm on stage,
yeah.
I connect with everybody. But after the gig, I don't want like people coming into the green room, and so I have now made a balance with that.
Hmm.
That how I can balance it out. I meet people after the gig. I say hello, okay, click pictures, and then okay, bye bye. I'll go to because I need that peace, especially when you are in a venue. It's so loud, and
Hmm.
sometimes just after your gig is over, they start playing electronic music, which becomes very very loud. So
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
yeah, does I what I tell the venue is, if you're calling a pop rock band, okay, like
Play
my
pop
band,
rock.
play pop rock, or start when you have like create that vibe in the, and
Yeah.
if an acoustic artist coming, play acoustic music, that
Hmm.
creates the vibe. So that's what I think, that eventually I'm going to have my own live venue and live setup or live studio, where I'm
Hmm.
going to have this, amazing venue where I understand the business and also the art side of it, right? That
Yeah.
if I'm calling a electronic artist, I can't play fusion pop and like call people and make them dance Bollywood baja ke.
Yeah, yeah.
It will
There are
come.
always, those people like that. I remember seeing like with photography or at gigs, right, where there's a musician, the live gig is happening.
Ah,
My job is to click photos of, the person play.
correct.
But then there'll be one person who'll, whistle or make one that dirty sound and call me, or they'll do this. What is this? I don't understand. And we've had like there are people they're like, can you tell the artist to play Bollywood?
Oh my
And then
god.
I look at them and I said, ma'am, this is an acoustic night and it's originals only, so we can't do that
I've
because
had like people walking on the stage to tell you sometimes, and
oh
this
yeah,
happens,
that's so
and
bad.
I get very irritated. What I do is I just stop the set, or my what I do is when I'm doing a live event, okay,
Hmm.
so people are talking. Sometimes you get like weird people in the audience. They're talking, they're not listening to you. So what I'll do, I just start playing very softly. So they will say some kuch to different ho raha hai, kuch ho raha hai. Then
Yeah.
they will go soft. I don't raise my voice. That is
Hmm.
totally against my norm. I won't say, hey, listen to me.
Yeah.
I'll just go very soft, and they understand. Okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
let's listen to the person who's saying something.
That's a very subtle way to do it. I've seen some artists who've actually flipped out at the audience.
No, that you can't do that, yeah.
But then there are some people who are very they'll just play. To
Yeah, yeah.
them they're just accessories, and for them they're like, koi rahe na rahe, I'll practice and I'll sing.
Hmm.
So there's that attitude also. I really like that one. So what is the one question you're tired of answering as a musician?
One question.
Is it like, how did you get into this?
Yeah, like how is the struggle? That is the question. Okay.
Why
Is
are you struggling?
नहीं नहीं हाँ दैट्स व्हाट पीपल नहीं स्ट्रगल मतलब पीपल लगता है कि ना बॉम्बे लोग आते हैं स्ट्रगल करने के लिए ठीक है so I don't associate with that word because I think it's very negative that especially if I tell if you ask me that I've never struggled in my life because I am doing something which I love doing ठीक है
Yeah.
so there's no struggle in it so people have a very weird notion about pursuing your dreams, that you have to struggle. It's not like that. You all, or if you put a negative term already on a beautiful thing as your dream, then you are already like on a wrong path, right? You can't say that I have to struggle. अब मैं जाऊंगा बॉम्बे, अगर किसी को एक्टिंग में, हाँ मैं स्ट्रगल करूंगा, मैं इधर जाके प्रोडक्शन हाउस में स्ट्रगल करूंगा. स्ट्रगल मत करो, जाके पूछो, बात करो, नॉर्मल बात करो, you know. So I am like, people keep asking me like, तुम तो अभी बॉम्बे शिफ्ट हो गए, तो स्ट्रगलिंग कर रहे होगे पूरा प्रॉपर. मतलब मैं जहाँ पे भी था, जब मैंने म्यूजिक चालू भी किया था, आई हैव नेवर स्ट्रगल्ड, ठीक है. I have always enjoyed, like, there might be times when I didn't have much money, okay, but that is not struggling. You are happy. That is important, right? You are happy and you want to do well. You want to face this next day with a smile. That is very important. So that is the one question which I like. क्या हो रहा है?
Yeah. So, and what is the one thing that you wish people asked you?
One thing people ask me, like, how did you get inspired to write a particular song, or how did your like journey started, or what inspired you to become a musician? That's something which, see, sometimes artists like getting reminded of that motive.
Yeah.
When you started playing or doing anything, right? So I like if somebody asks me, and if having a conversation, they ask me, how did you because I also ask the same thing. If you're doing something, how did you get inspired to do this? Because sometimes I meet people who are doing amazing thing. I have friends who are in atomic center, Bhabha atomic center, where the people are in like raw agents and all that. ऐसे दोस्त भी हैं मेरे. So like, यार तुमको कहाँ से inspiration कहाँ से मिलती है? So I get amazing answers, and I also like when people ask me that, I tell them that like probably playing the tabla, or being in an environment where your father is listening to music in cassette player every day, ghazals happening, ragas happening, so you get inspired, right?
Yeah. Wait, did you just say raw agent?
Raw agent.
Okay, we'll not talk about that more while this is recording. But what I meant to ask is, what is that one question that you want to answer, but people don't ask you that question?
Oh, one thing. I don't know. People ask all sort of questions, man. There are hardly any questions left now. I don't know. I don't think so. There are any questions. Nothing comes to my mind.
Okay. And what do you think is the biggest takeaway from your album?
This album was conceived in a span of, I think, 3 years. All my traveling, and as I mentioned, that most of the songs are my experience, but a couple of songs are also like, there's a song called Alfaz, which was written by my friend Shama, and she's an author and she's a writer, and she wrote the song. And so different experience, people like sharing their experience. So it's more of a travel blog, kind of a feel in that. There's a song called Zindagi Khoj, which talks about discovering yourself, and not. And there's a line in that song called "फिर लोगों का कहना था इस राह मंजिल है नहीं, फिर उनको क्या बोलूं यारो इन उलझनों का अपना ही मजा." So people will keep saying things like, what are you doing? There's no future in this. But you have to believe in yourself. That's the main motto of this album.
That's true. Can you translate that for the people who don't understand Hindi?
So फिर लोगों का कहना था इस राह मंजिल है नहीं. That means people will say that there is no destination to this road which you have taken. उनको क्या बोलो यारो इन उलझनों का अपना ही मजा. So what will I tell them? That all these troubles and difficulties are the real pleasure which you go through. That is the real journey, because your end destination is only 1% of your entire journey. The entire 99% is that road, which are like, I'll give you an example. Like when you take an examination, the examination happens only on one day, but you're studying for it that 365 days. If you don't do that, you don't reach that destination. Correct. So it's like that. So the entire album is like that. You have traveled and met people, like experiences, wrote about it, and it's a very simple pop rock kind of album.
Have you ever considered, right now I just realized, have you ever considered translating your work? Like, how Rahman does? Somehow he'll have
Tamil
the same thing in Tamil and in
yeah.
Hindi.
No,
It makes
I have not
sense.
done that It's a good suggestion. I will definitely try and do that. But what happens with like especially languages like Hindi and Urdu, when you tend to translate them in a different language, they tend to lose their charm.
Yeah.
Because like Urdu के अल्फाज जो होते हैं ना, the weight in that word, sometimes you don't get the same weight in the same word in say English language, and it happens in English to Hindi or English to Urdu also, vice versa.
But I think English to Urdu would be a lot easier to a certain extent.
You must have heard. See, you're talking about Rahman. The songs you have heard in Tamil, उनके Hindi version सुन लो, lyrics.
It's almost close though. It's not
almost close, but it's like
very. It's not very different.
Yeah, but when you really understand Hindi, like the flow of it, sometimes they are like makeshift. Like just to fill that space, you have to write a Hindi line. Some of the songs are like that. But when you listen to them in Tamil, because they are conceived in Tamil, right? That conceiving language is Tamil, so it's very pure. Like if you watch, say, Money Heist in English.
Yeah.
You don't feel, you have to watch it in Spanish. And
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, whatever. Like I have watched the last season probably.
I don't have the energy to start a new show. I just finished Dynasty.
Oh man, my friend was trying to make me watch that Crown, and I slept off in the first episode. So
Crown isn't bad, yeah. What do you say?
It's not bad, but it was like, okay. I'm totally a science fiction thriller kind of a guy, probably. Yeah.
Maybe. I think.
But anyhow.
I don't know if I'm watching anything in science fiction. I'm thinking. I've been watching a lot of stand-up.
Living in a science fiction movie, by the way.
Sorry?
We are living in a science fiction movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is science fiction at the end of the day. So it's all depends.
Like, a movie like Contagion, which came in 2012 probably, and everything like what happened in the movie will happen in real life. It's like crazy.
Oh yeah, I have this theory that so imagine the entire world to be like our eye. Okay, so I'm going to explain this to you because you can see me. So imagine the entire world to be like our eye. So the black bit is the globe or the universe we live in, and the white is all the light around. Now there are two holes from where light is coming and going through. So in my head, those two holes are the sun and the moon. And it's basically all of it is a video game. And if you're bad, you get struck by lightning.
Oh, it's like the living in the Matrix.
Yeah, kind of. I've also never watched the Matrix. I still get these theories randomly.
You should definitely watch Matrix.
I want to. It's on my to-do list. I recently finished Lord of the Rings finally.
Oh.
After so long. Because I slept.
I think books are better, man. Lord of the Rings books. If you read the books, no.
I want to.
Yeah, way better.
Tolkien is like insanely good. My God.
Yeah. But movies though, obviously, like amazing movies also.
Yeah, like even George R.R. Martin had his categorically states that he's taken a lot of inspiration from Tolkien.
Oh,
for his creators. Like spoiler alert if anyone's listening later. Aragon is John is based off Aragon.
Oh, really?
You didn't realize?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's a similar story, right? So that's.
Oh, okay.
But one thing I wish that the movies of Lord of the Rings showed is how Aragon finds out that he's actually a king. I don't think they stress on it enough.
They didn't show it that well. Yeah.
So I wish they did that, but it was fun though. I really liked it. So I have this massive tattoo of Aragon's prophecy.
Oh,
and
really?
And I haven't read the books, or at that point I never watched the movies also. I got this 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I just came across the poem separately because I read a lot of poetry. And it really stuck with me. And later I realized it was Aragon's prophecy. Later I realized the whole Game of Thrones connection. Because for me, that poem was very, empowering. So I got it. So every time I'm out and suppose I'm wearing shorts, someone will try to read it. And, bend and go like, what is that? What do you have out there? It happens a lot.
So any Lord of the Rings fan, like, people like, oh, as an experience, like people came, you seem to be a Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah. That's happened so much.
Must be a pickup line, na? Like, ladke kaise bolte honge. But then you will come to know कि कि बंदे ने Lord of the Rings तो पढ़ी है, तो मतलब थोड़ा सा दिमाग में
नहीं वो ठीक है. But then there was this one time I was walking with my friend in this shopping complex in my township. Okay. This dude, so I'm walking, his eyes are going like this. So, and I was wearing shorts, so I knew, but I wanted to confirm. I said, "Khamakha kisi pe chillane ki zarurat nahi hai."
नहीं हाँ.
So I took a step back, like I started walking backwards. Then his eyes were shifting again. Then I went up to him and I said, "Do you want my tattoo artist's phone number?" And he goes like, "No," because like I've seen like middle-aged men, and it's quite strange. But when
It's
some people come and just randomly start reading it without even asking, I'm sitting in at Swig or something, and they'll come and read it. And I'm just saying, okay, like it's okay. I know it's a big tattoo and it will catch attention, but that happens. Do you have any tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos.
What? I have 8.
Yeah, I don't have any. I see. I like tattoos on
दूर से.
people, but दूर से अच्छा लगता
खुद पे
है.
नहीं.
हाँ, मेरे को कभी ऐसा connection नहीं हुआ. Like I've never was fascinated. I'm not saying that I will never get tattooed done, but like अभी तक तो ऐसा कुछ किसी से song ऐसा strong connection हुआ नहीं कि I will tattoo करा लो. ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं.
Nah.
Probably
No.
later in
I
life.
believe in having like that connection. I don't have anything on my
that
body
has to be there. Yeah.
that I will regret 50 years from now. So that's
Yeah.
my logic. Will I still believe in this 50 years from today? So that's all. So there are people who get their partners' names. I said, तुम्हारे relationship का आता पता नहीं है, तुम क्या नाम लिखा रहे हो दूसरों का?
हाँ, वो तो होता है यार. वो बहुत sad हो जाता है.
Oh yeah, it's happened a lot. But I think it's cute also, but then it comes at a limit. There's only so much you can do with that. Like I had this thing where
It's nothing right or wrong. Like people like if you have that kind of connection with somebody, then definitely go for it.
Yeah.
But don't get it done just as a norm, like as a fashion thing, like
Or don't do it because they're doing it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. जरूरी नहीं है भाई.
Yeah, I've seen people go like, I got his name because he got my name done, and I said that is not. That seems a little off. I mean,
I have like gifted tattoos to my friends, like unke birthdays. But like, I have a lot of friends who love tattoos, so I've gifted friends. I see it as a beautiful gift. Some people will remember you for your entire life. Right? So I have done that to my friends.
Yeah, I did this one as a gift to my grandmom. So I had gone. I get into this mood. Okay, my tattoo artist really hates this about me. Because I will just call her up and I was like, "Are you at the studio? Are you free today?" And I'll show up. There is no preconceived warning because in my head I have a list of tattoos I want, but it's just that I need to have the funds for it. I need to be in the space for it. I need to be in the mood for it. So I went up to her once and I decided that I wanted to get my grandmom's maiden name.
Okay.
So my mom already, this was my...
That in Tamil or in English?
Telugu.
In Telugu, okay.
So my Amamma's. And I had asked my mom, I texted her, I said, "Ma, she was with my grandmom. I said, get her to write her name and sign it." And my poor thing, my mother made my grandmother write it in the best handwriting possible. And she sends it to me. And within 5 minutes, I send her a photo of the tattoo that's here. And this is, at this point, this is my, wait, I'll count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This was my 6th tattoo. So I sent my mom a photo. And my first tattoo, when I got it, I did not tell her till it healed.
Oh shit.
Because it is a simple logic. Because if it gets screwed up.
Is she okay with tattoos and all that?
No, she's not. My mother, like, she was worried that first I had piercings as a thing. I have a piercing inside and all of that. She said, "What are you doing to your body?" She's a typical, Tambram but Telugu mom. So she has both of that. So she's like, "What are you doing with yourself?" And later when I got it and I sent her a photo, the logic is that don't tell her about the tattoo unless it's healed, because otherwise she'll go like, "I told you so." So I don't want to give her that opportunity. So I got the 6th one and I sent her a photo and she said, "Is that permanent?" She's like, "I thought you were asking for an autograph. What the hell did you do?" But it was quite hilarious. I mean, but my grandmom kind of felt nice, so it worked out somewhere.
That's cool. Full power.
Yeah, always. Do you find it difficult to stick to your South Indian roots when you're in Bombay or Pune?
I really don't know what, like, in terms of roots, like, I have not lived in Kerala, so it's never been a... See, it's a very how to express it, like roots बहुत लोग के लिए अलग होता है, you know, like you, if you can speak fluent Malayalam
Hmm.
and if you can do a lot of things, but right now, like I think I stick, I'm a very proud Malayali. Okay, I love Kerala a lot. In fact, you know, I was talking to my girlfriend today, and I told her that, you know, like I miss that whenever I travel to, especially train travel, right? When I go to Kerala, and that wood smell comes, you know, the burning wood
Yeah.
ka smell aata, and that soil ka smell, I miss it so much. So and you know, so it is difficult to stick to your roots, especially when you're staying outside, you don't have any contact. But I think somewhere down there you have that love. uh, like for me, like I love Kerala a lot personally, and I love going there, and I'm missing it so much right now.
You're stuck in Bombay and Navi Mumbai. Not even. Do you get that? You're not exactly in Bombay, but you're in Navi Mumbai.
Yeah, I get that, and people people like who live that side, and they're like, oh, you live so far. I'm like, it's okay, I don't have to come to Bombay or every day anyhow. I can record songs from my studio, and it's totally cool. People have this notion that you have, we're not struggling wala, you have to struggle. भाई तू जा उधर अंधेरी में रहे, तू struggle कर, you live in that filth, then you'll feel the struggle. मैंने बोला it's fine, I'll struggle wherever I want to struggle, whatever तुम्हारा terms में, and I'm happy.
Do you ever feel like na ghar ka na ghat ka from if you're in Navi Mumbai because you're neither in Bombay or in Pune?
See, I believe that I live in between Pune and Bombay, so it's best of both places. Okay, if I have to go to Pune, I go to Pune. If I have to go to Bombay, I go to Bombay. Okay, and eventually I want to leave Bombay. Like, you know, my plan is to not stay here more than 5 years. So I want to set up my own studio somewhere in the hills, or you know, I love the hills. I love the beach actually, but beach ke side mein na studio setup karna is like a bad decision because you have moisture and all that.
Yeah.
So I want to set up a studio in a remote place and work from a place like that, and organic farming करना है खुद का खाना उगाना है, ये सारे plans तो है मेरे. In 5 years, when I have, like, I make a little mark for myself in the industry, like I can work from anywhere, I can travel from anywhere, I'll do that definitely. I don't want to live here forever, for sure.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, that brings me to the end of this recording. So thank you so much for being a part of this and agreeing to re-record this. This was a lot of fun.
Most welcome, most welcome.
Was this better than the last time?
Yeah, the quality wise also it's better, you know, audio
Yeah,
and everything.
question wise also, flow wise and all.
Perfect hai, perfect.
Thanks.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna shut this now.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.